There's only one way for the American people to see the Mar-a-Lago report by Special Counsel Jack Smith outlining all the crimes that Donald Trump committed in his obstruction of justice and espionage and holding nuclear codes and secrets from the American people after he left office. There's only one path. And the House Democrats' ranking members are demanding that it be implemented. That Special Counsel Jack Smith's report will only see the light of day between now and Monday, if at all, to the American people. There's only one way, and that's for Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice to immediately dismiss the pending case in Mar-a-Lago against Donald Trump's two co-conspirators, do an end run around Judge Cannon. Don't worry about her continuing to try to block the release of Volume 2 of the report to Congress. This is the only way to get it to the American people, because it has to come through Merrick Garland. Because if he doesn't dismiss the case, which takes away jurisdiction for Eileen Cannon, and he's already said as Attorney General he's not going to release the report while there's a pending case. Well, there's not going to be a pending case once Donald Trump comes in, but his Attorney General is not going to release the report. You get it? I'm going to explain it to you right here on the Legal AF YouTube channel. Here we go. Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman, the ranking members for the Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, have written a letter to Merrick Garland outlining this is probably one of the simplest hot takes I'm going to do in a while. It's the only method. There's not like, well, I wonder if we could try another way. Let me set it up for you. Merrick Garland told the world and Judge Cannon that he is not going to release Volume 2 of Mar-a-Lago final report against Donald Trump, which Donald Trump is desperate to keep away from the American people, as we know, especially on the eve of his inauguration. He's not going to release that while there's a pending criminal case against Donald Trump's two co-conspirators in the case we shorthand as Mar-a-Lago, or we can call it the obstruction of justice case, or what Eileen Cannon calls it, the classified documents case. That case is still alive, although on life support. It's up at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals because two things happened. Trump was dismissed, although weirdly he's trying to intervene back in the case. Trump was dismissed because he won election, and the Department of Justice dismissed him a couple of months ago. The entirety of the prosecution was dismissed by Eileen Cannon with a stroke of her judicial pen, because she found, first time in 249 years, that the special counsel was unconstitutionally appointed and funded by the Attorney General. Nobody's ever ruled that way. In fact, that's counter to the United States Supreme Court rulings against Nixon in 1974. Let's leave that aside for a minute. That's up on appeal. The 11th Circuit, they used to have a big appetite to take on these constitutional issues and presidential immunity issues. And Eileen Cannon, they don't any longer. They're letting time be their guide. They're letting time solve problems, you know? Oh, we were about to rule on that. Oh, we don't have to rule on that anymore because time has passed and things have happened and it's now moot. Good. Yeah. So they've had a fully briefed appeal by the Department of Justice and originally Jack Smith for the last 4 months. And they've just been sitting on it. And I assure you, I'd be shocked. And I'll come back here and tell you that I was wrong. I'd be shocked if they're going to rule on that before Monday. And after Monday, game over. Game over. Buzzer sounds, red box around the basket. We are not going to see that decision by the 11th Circuit, because Donald Trump is going to dismiss the case against Nauta and De Oliveira, his co-conspirators, because he's going to give them pardons. And if that happens, then Pam Bondi, the Attorney General replacement for Merrick Garland, is going to take the Mar-a-Lago report and she's going to put it in the trash. Well, she's going to bury it. We'll get it 4 years from now after the Democrats take the House, take the White House again. But that's what's going to happen. There's only one solution, and that's what Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman are calling for. Dan Goldman, very interesting, by the way. Remember his body of work. He was an attorney who represented the House managers in the impeachment process in the first impeachment case. He also served in the Obama administration, and he is a representative, a congressperson from New York in the area that covers parts of Manhattan. So he and Jamie Raskin have laid it out You've said, Merrick Garland, that you're not going to release volume 2 on your watch, which is running out of time here while there's a pending case. Kill the pending case. We don't need that case. That case precedent is not precedent. Nobody believes that Eileen Cannon was right to find that a special counsel was unconstitutionally appointed. First time in 249 years. Nobody believes that. So it's aberrational. It's not a precedent you have to worry about. Don't worry about the next Department of Justice and what they're worth. Let them figure that out. Dismiss the case. Because Cannon is currently, and whatever happens today with Judge Cannon in her courtroom with a hearing she's holding with Donald Trump intervening, doesn't matter either. Because she's not making the decision about whether to release volume 2, Mar-a-Lago, to the public. Her only issue is, I'm blocking it from going to Congress. Because the special counsel rule requires that the special counsel's reports be delivered to the ranking members of the Judiciary Committee, House and Senate, at the conclusion of their work. That's a mandate. But she's blocking it. Well, Congress could leak it. Congress could leak that report. I still have these 2 poor defendants in front of me. Hopefully not for much longer. And I got to protect due process for them. That's all I care about. I don't care about Congress and what the statute says, separation of powers, and my jurisdiction. I don't care about any of that. I care about these 2 poor guys in front of me who continue to be on Donald Trump's payroll and work for him, as I do. And so the way around her, is to dismiss the cases. Then she has no jurisdiction. Then there's no due process to protect. Instead, I don't want to have what Merrick Garland did, which is like he thinks everybody is as honorable as he thinks he is and sanctimonious as he thinks he is. And he writes a love note to his successor. Dear future Attorney General, I think it's in the public interest to release the Mar-a-Lago report once the case is over against the 2 co-conspirators. XOXO Merrick Garland. Good for you. That's not what Pam Bondi's going to find. She's going to find the opposite. She's going to find it's a part of a healing process. It was warfare. It was lawfare. It was the weaponization of the Department of Justice. It was a dark day. I'm going to return a golden era to the Department of Justice. I'm just paraphrasing what she said during her confirmation hearing. She's not going to release that report. You have to release the report. The only way you can do it, since you painted yourself into the corner about I'm not going to release it when there's a pending case, is to dismiss the case. Here's the letter from Raskin and Goldman. The American people now deserve the opportunity to read volume 2 of the special counsel's report, which explains how President Trump knowingly retained hundreds of presidential and highly classified records at his Mar-a-Lago club and then deliberately defied subpoenas, obstructed law enforcement, hid evidence, and lied about its continuing retention of the records. It is in the very nature of American democracy, Goldman and Raskin write, that the people have a right to know of the public actions of their public officials, and it is essential to the rule of law that Justice Department special counsel reports continue to be available and accessible to the public. As Attorney General, wake up, Merrick Garland. The wake up, Merrick Garland part was mine. It is incumbent upon you to take all necessary steps to ensure the report is released before underline the end of your tenure, Monday, including, if necessary, by simply dismissing the remaining criminal charges against Mr. Trump's co-conspirators, Waltine Nauta and Carlos D. Oliveira. Watching Merrick Garland here at the end, it reminds me of like an old joke when I was a kid. I mean, like a little kid. Like, did you hear the one about the family that locked themselves inside the car? He has the ability to open the car door from the inside and get out. He's not locked inside. Okay? Dismiss the case. Karen Freeman Agnifilo, my co-anchor on Wednesdays, said just that on our recent edition of Legal AF. It's the only way. I feel like I'm back at Star Wars with Carrie Fisher. It's our only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do it. I hope I'm going to be able to come back here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and report to you this is exactly what happened between now and Monday. I'm not sure. Usually I'm disappointed, and that's doing a heavy lift in that sentence with Merrick Garland. And he continues to get flat-footed, outfoxed, outboxed. This is the way around it. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? Don't do the same thing. You know what Cannon's doing. And by the way, it doesn't matter what Cannon does today on whether Donald Trump is going to be intervening in the case or not, or whether he's going to argue, or whether she's going to continue to block Volume 2 to Congress. Who cares? That's picking up pennies and dimes in front of a steamroller. We don't care about that. That's just whether it's going to be blocked going to Congress. We want it to the public. Release free Volume 2. Hashtag. Dismiss the case against the other two. Let a future Department of Justice worry about the validity of the special counsel under her ruling. I trust no other federal judge is going to adopt canon except maybe in Texas and right-wing federal courts. That's it. We don't care about that at this moment. So until my next hot take and reporting, and I will come back and update you here on Legal AF, take a minute, hit the blue subscribe button, help us towards our march for 500,000 by our half birthday. Until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.